Z Breaker, with its Stend or Stend Plus driver set to attack mode, Achilles uses its height to its advantage and attacks with the blade on its layer, knocking the opposing Beyblade downward and dealing more damage. Z Launch, using the slope of the Bay Stadium, Achilles gains more speed and power in its attacks, similar to Vault Always Rush Launch. Z Defense, by spinning at high speed, Achilles uses its short edges to deflect incoming attacks and returns damage. Z Whip, with its Stend performance tip set to the lower mode, Achilles hits the opponent's Bay head-on, using its long sword-like edge to slash across the opponent's energy layer, similar to Vault Always Wonder Whip. Z Dive, using the power from an opposing Beyblade's attack, Z Achilles flies into the air and uses gravity to increase its speed and power of its fall to inflict massive damage on the opposing Beyblade. Turbo Whip, Z and Turbo Achilles hit the opposing Beyblade head-on, using their two blades to slash across the opposing Bay, causing critical damage. Turbo Launch, Achilles' tip grinds against the stadium then rushes toward the opposing Bay. Turbo Crush, by increasing its defense power, Z Achilles forms a shield around itself, and then smashes into the opponent's Bay, causing serious damage. Turbo Dive, a stronger version of Z Dive, Z and Turbo Achilles use the power from an opposing Beyblade's attack to fly into the air. Using the gravity of the fall, it increases its speed and power to slam into the opposing Beyblade from above. Turbo Upper, this move is when one of the two swords hit the Beyblade directly and is used to score a ring-out finish. Turbo Defense, a stronger version of Z Defense, Turbo Achilles uses the short blades on its energy layer to block attacks while dealing damage. Turbo Breaker, similar to Z Breaker, this move consists of Turbo Achilles using its height to crash down on the opposing Beyblade, forcing it downward and causing critical damage. Turbo Shield, when Achilles' balance falters, it uses the wobbling to aim the shield on the center of its energy layer at opposing bays to deflect attacks. Achilles can also use this move while holding the center to block multiple attacks. Turbo Sword, similar to Z Whip, Achilles channels its power into the long burst stopper blades on the energy layer to hit the opponent with a powerful sword-like slash attack. Unison Breaker, similar to Z Breaker and Turbo Breaker, Achilles, with its Stend Plus driver set into attack mode, uses its height to crash down on the opposing Beyblade, forcing it downward to cause critical damage. Unison Launch, like Z Launch and Turbo Launch, Achilles gains even more speed and power than before by using the slope of the Bay Stadium to unleash a barrage of attacks. Hyperflux, when a blader has achieved complete synchronization with their Beyblade, the Bay turns gold. Unison Dive, like Z Dive and Turbo Dive, Achilles uses the stadium wall to fly into the air, then falls back down, increasing its speed and power to deliver a massive attack. Unison Shield, like Turbo Shield, Achilles uses its balance mode along with its wavering spin, usually achieved by hitting the wall, to use the shield on its layer as a focus point for the center of gravity to block the attack. Unison Defense, like Z Defense and Turbo Defense, Achilles uses its short edges to deflect incoming attacks and returns damage back to its opponent. Unison Whip, like Z Whip and Turbo Whip, Union Achilles uses its sword's/wings to slash the opposing Bay, dealing massive damage. Infinite Guard, like Z Defense, Turbo Defense and Unison Defense, Achilles uses the short edges on the Infinite Ring with the Infinite Shield to deflect incoming attacks and returns damage back to its opponent. Infinite Breaker, set in attack mode with the Infinite Sword, Achilles generates 4 flame blades and strikes the opposing Beyblade with all its might, like Z Breaker, Turbo Breaker and Unison Breaker. Infinite Attack, set in its default mode, Infinite Achilles channels power through the Infinite Ring to deliver a powerful strike against the opposing Beyblade. Infinite Sword, special move with the Infinite Sword, Achilles channels energy through the Infinite Ring and generates 4 flaming energy blades to deal a powerful strike against the opposing Beyblade. Zeal Breaker, just like its predecessors, Zeal Achilles charges its Zeal Blade to generate 2 large energy blades at the ends of its swords to strike the opponent, dealing massive damage. Zeal Launch, Achilles gains even more speed and power than before by using the slope of the Bay Stadium to unleash a barrage of attacks. Zealous Shield, Achilles uses its balance mode along with its wavering spin to use the shield on its layer as a focus point for the center of gravity to block the attack. Zealous Dive, Achilles uses the stadium wall to fly into the air, then falls back down, increasing its speed and power to deliver a massive attack.